Welcome to our maths class. Good to see you again. Today we are going to learn about decimals. So we will learn how multiplication and division works with decimals. Let's move to our topic. What is decimals? A decimal is any number in our base 10 number system. Specifically, we will be using numbers that have one or more digits to the right of the decimal point in this unit of lessons. The decimal point is used to separate the ones place from the tens place in decimals. I hope you got my point that anything on the right side of the decimal point is basically the decimals, and it is also used to separate dollars from cents in money, as you have seen that how we write cents and dollars. So as we move to the right of the decimal point, each number place is divided by 10. Let's move forward to the example so you can get a better understanding of this. Here we have an example 57.49. So anything on the right side of the decimal point is not read as a whole, like we do not call it 49. We will call it 0.49, where 4 is known as the 10th position and 9 is known as the 100th position, because this is the because 49 here is 49th part of the 100, and here 4, if it was only 4, then we can call it that it is the fourth part of a 10. So 57.49, so basically 49th part of 100 and 57, this is, we can say it like that. So let's move forward to some more examples. First, we need to know, why do we use decimals? Decimals are used in situations which require more precision than whole numbers can provide. A good example of this is money. 3 and 1/4 dollars is an amount between $3 and $4. We use decimals to write this amount as $3.25. A decimal may have both a whole number part and a fractional part. As you saw here, that 57 is the whole number part and 49 by 100 is the fractional part. I hope you got my point. The whole number part of a decimal are those digits to the left of the decimal point. The fractional part of a decimal is represented by the digits to the right of the decimal point. The decimal point is used to separate these parts. Let's move forward. Working out decimals. We need to know how do decimals work with multiplication and with division. So first we need to know how do we multiply decimals. Consider here 12.4 multiplied by 0.7. So the step 1 will be, forget the decimal points and multiply the numbers together. So here we ignore the decimal points and we take the number as a whole, like 124 instead of 12.4. We write it 124 and multiplied by 7 instead of 0.7. So the product of 124 and 7 will be 868. Now step 2, add the total number of decimal places after the decimal point in both numbers. So we have 12.4 and we have 0.7, and here we can see in both numbers we have one decimal place. Like in 12.4 we have only one decimal place on the right side of decimal, that is we have only one number, that is 4, on the right side of the decimal point. And here in 0.7 we have only one number, we have only one decimal place on the right side of a decimal point. So altogether there are two decimal places. These two, 1 and 1 makes two decimal places. Now in step 3, place the decimal point in the answer so that there are two decimal places after the point. I hope you got my point, that we got our answer 868. Now what we need to do is we have two decimal places on the right side of the decimal. So we need to see that on the right side we have two decimal places, that is 6 and 8. We have two numbers on the right side of a decimal point. I hope you got my point now. Let's move forward to some examples, and here you need to do it yourself. You need to work out these questions yourself. 0.3 multiplied by 0.2. In this question you can see that you have only one decimal place on the right side of the question, on the right side of the decimal point, so you have two decimal places. In this question, 0.06 multiplied by 0.4, you have two decimal places on the right side of in this part, and you have one decimal place in 0.4. So altogether you have three decimal places. Whatever the answer you will get, you will add three decimal places on the right side of your decimal point. Now here is a practice question. Allison changes 16 pounds into American dollars. The exchange rate is 1 pound to $1.40. How many American dollars does Allison receive? We need to find 16 multiplied by 1.4. Step 1. as we have 16 pounds, so we need to multiply this with 1.4 to get our value in American dollars. So we do is we ignore the decimal point of 1.4 and we write it as 14. We multiply 16 and 14 and the product is 224. Now as we can see that we have only one decimal place on the right side of 1.4 and we have no decimal place in 16. Like there is, if you add up decimal after 16 we have only zeros, so there's no need to count them. So we have one decimal place and here we have this one decimal place, that is we will add decimal point before the last number, that is we have only one decimal place. So Ellison receives $22.4. I hope you got my point. Now we come to the working of dividing decimals. Consider 16.44 divided by 0.3. Now the step 1 of dividing is convert the divisor. The divisor is 0.3 and 16.44 is the dividend into a whole number. So we need to make this divisor 0.3 first a whole number, that is we will multiply it with 10. So whenever we multiply it with 10, automatically we need to multiply the numerator also with 10 to balance out the equation. So our equation becomes 164.4 instead of 16.44 when we multiply it with 10, and 0.3 becomes 3. Here we can see now the problem becomes 164.4 divided by 3, which gives us the answer 54.8, and this answer can be, we can get this answer from the method I have told you in my lecture related to division. That is the first lecture I gave you. If you are unable to understand it, you can again multiply 10 both numerator and denominator. That is, we can again multiply 10 with both numerator and denominator, then it will become 1644 divided by 30. I did this just because if this decimal is worrying you, if you are getting worried because of this decimal in this 164.4, then you can get rid of it by again multiply the numerator and denominator with 10. That will only cause an additional 0 in 3 and it will become a 30, but it will be easy. Then again you can do it with the method I have told you before, in which you can easily do it by dividing 1644 by 30 and you will get the answer 54.8. Now we need to move forward. Here's a practice question. We have 120 divided by 0.3. So we can usually write this division line as you have learned before. So to get rid of this decimal point in the in the denominator, what we will do is we will multiply 10 both from the numerator and in the denominator. So this 10 will make it 3 and this 10 will add here a 0 to become 1200, and then after this division we get our answer 400. Let's move forward. Another question. Here the question is 0.2 divided by 200. Now this question must be worrying you because the dividend is far less than the divisor. So this is no issue. Just simply make your numerator a whole number, get rid of this decimal point, multiply it with 10, multiply this also this with 10, and you will get 2 divided by 2000. Simple. 2 cancels with 2 and it becomes 1 divided by 1000. Now you can see that we can also write it like this. 1000 can be written as 10 cubit. Now this 10 cubit, when it comes to the numerator, you can see this positive exponent becomes a negative exponent, and hence our answer is 0.001. Whenever it is negative, you can see that value will move from right side towards the left side of 1. We are done with our lecture. So life is an open book, ready to turn the next page. Let's move forward. Here is an assignment for your own practice. We have a question. Each 2 pence coin is 0.185 centimeter thick. Stephen builds a tower of 252 penny coins How tall is the tower? So, as a single coin of 2 pence is 0.185 centimeters thick, to check 250 2 pence coins, thickness of um, 250 2 pence coins, you need to multiply 250 with 0.185 centimeter, and you will get your respective answer, and you will come to know how tall is the tower. The other question is, Scott has a rope 8 meters long. He says, I need 9 pieces each 0.89 meters long. Will Scott have enough ribbon? So what you need to do is you need to multiply 9 with 0.89, and when you will multiply this, you will come to know that you have 2 decimal places here and you have 0 decimal places here, so your answer will be having 2 decimal places. And when you multiply this and you get the answer, if the answer is equal to or greater than 8, then you can say that Scott has enough ribbon. But if the answer is less than 8, then you can say that Scott does not have enough ribbon. The last answer, the most easiest answer, is cost. A DVD costs 6.79 pound each. Work out the cost of 5 DVDs. So from this question, you can solve it just like 6.79 multiplied by 5, and whatever the answer you get is the cost of 5 DVDs. Here you have 2 decimal places and you have 0 decimal places in 5, so your answer will be having 2 decimal places. I hope this will help you out. We are done with our lecture. So the message of the day is, without hard work and discipline, it is difficult to be a top professional. Remain determined. Thank you. Keep following my lectures. The credit goes to tutor Shahriar Salman, that is obviously me, and the reference website is www.sciencebusiness.co.uk. You can follow the website for some extra information, and keep following us. Take care. Goodbye for now.